Miss Espinal and Miss Zahler, I've read your complaint. I've read your answer. Let me see if I understand this. You were living in Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
You were originally from New York.
Yes, ma'am.
And you came to New York for a job interview with the defendant.
Correct.
And she hired you. You left Texas. You lasted 2 weeks on the job. You were fired. And you're seeking $3,000 in damages.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, first tell me, what kind of job was it that you had with the defendant?
I was supposed to be hired for an administrative assistant and also...
What kind of business?
I said for a jewelry store, for a jewelry showroom. And she hired me as an administrative assistant, and she also needed somebody who had some sales experience, which I do.
That's not true. I didn't hire you for that purpose.
All right, we're going to get to your side of the story in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
The interview lasted 10 minutes. They told me everything that was expected from me, and there was no references checked, nothing. And I made the decision and I moved to New York because I thought it was going to be a better opportunity for me.
So you left Texas.
Everything.
What was in Texas?
My life. I had a job. I had my boyfriend that I was with for 5 years.
How much were you making at the job in Texas?
I was making $400 a week.
And how much were you making at this job?
It was $400 also. And the reason why I took the job for so little is because, again, she led me to believe that there was going to be better opportunities in the future.
So you left your boyfriend and your life to come to New York for a job at the same salary?
Yes, I left my apartment. Okay. I left everything, sold my car, because what he had said to me that with training, within a year, I would be making about $60,000.
If everything worked out?
If everything worked out.
You didn't have a contract with them?
No, ma'am.
So you understood that you could have an employment contract. Did you ask about an employment contract?
No, I was overwhelmed and so happy that she hired me so fast that I just, I accepted the position.
But you know what an employment contract is?
Yes, I do.
And you didn't have one?
No, ma'am.
Okay, what happened after 2 weeks? She just came in and fired you?
Well, the first week I was there, she was getting prepared for market. Everything was a disaster. Nothing was in place.
That's what happens before market, Judge.
Right.
You have to get everything in place, so it would be a disaster.
Right. It was a complete disaster. I mean, everything was unorganized. The first thing I needed to do is get myself organized so I can see what I'm doing and I can understand, the job that I'm performing. But every time I try to do something, I was pulled by either her or whatever to do different things, and I was never able to finish the job that she originally had asked me to do. Okay?
So she came in and fired you?
Well, she came and fired. The second week it was market. Market didn't go as well as she expected. And the second day after market was finished, she came and fired me. In the meantime, in the 2 weeks that I was there, she didn't express any reasons to me that she was unhappy with me until the day.
Were you living with your mother at this time, according to this?
No, I was living with a friend of mine that I was trying. He was letting me stay in his apartment, and I was paying him $450 a month. So until I found an apartment, until I get myself settled and everything, because
Because it says in your complaint that now you're living with your mother.
Now I'm living with my mother because I have no place to live. And I haven't lived with my mom since I was 18 years old. I've been on my own. And it's very uncomfortable. My mom right now is going through a lot of things.
Well, why don't you go back to your boyfriend?
Because I'm not seeing him anymore.
When did you break up with him?
Before I left.
Let me hear. What happened? How come you fired her?
I fired her because she was incompetent and she wasn't doing the job I needed to be done. I spoke to her several times about her lateness in the morning.
How late?
20 minutes, a half hour, talking on the phone constantly. I spoke to her about that. The pièce de résistance was I gave her a Federal Express letter to mail, and I found it on the desk the next morning. And I said to her, what is happening here if you can't even mail something that is so important? I'm sending Federal Express overnight delivery, and it's still sitting on the desk.
Do you remember that incident?
Yes, I do remember that incident. And the Federal Express that she's talking about were 300 copies that she
It doesn't matter how many copies.
Listen, there were 300 copies that it was missing some information from Federal Express. She originally had told me to call Federal Express and sit on the phone so that Federal Express people can get me this information over the phone. They said there's no way we can do this.
Thanks you for watching my video. Kindly like the video and subscribe my channel for part 2.